My neighborhood had always been peaceful until Mr. Thompson became our homeowners association president. He took the job way too seriously.
That's how I met him first, with the 3-page letter about my recycling bin being 2 inches too far from the curb. At our HOA meeting, he stood tapping his pen on the podium. We need stricter guidelines about noise and property appearance. I nodded along, thinking it was harmless until he dropped the bomb. Effective immediately, all lawn care activities are prohibited on Sundays. That means mowing, trimming, blowing leaves, nothing.
The next Saturday, I caught my neighbor, Mr. Davison, trying to mow his lawn fast before Sunday hit. Can't do it on Sunday, he complained, wiping his brow.
Speaker. That's what I heard.
I said, helping him move his lawnmower back into the garage.
Scorched.
By Thursday, Mr. Thompson sent out a 6-page memo expanding the rule. Not only prohibited on Sundays, but any work that could potentially disturb the peace on Sundays, including preparations for Monday's mowing.
I read it twice, realizing he was essentially banning all Sunday gardening activities, including cutting flowers or even using electric tools in your garage. When I pointed this out at the next meeting, Mr. Thompson sighed dramatically. The spirit of the rule is about noise. Surely we don't need to specify every possible disturbance?
Sunday morning arrived, and I watched from my kitchen window as Mr. Thompson walked his own lawn with a tape measure. Speaker, good morning, I called when he stopped to trim a stray branch using scissors. He jumped. You're not mowing? He asked, clearly surprised. Not on Sunday, I replied sweetly, pointing to his document. It says prohibited activities. That afternoon, I heard a commotion outside. Turns out Mr. Davison had tried to help me by borrowing my gas trimmer early Sunday morning to finish his edges. Speakers. You have to stop, Mr. Thompson declared, marching between their yards with his tangent rule. This is explicitly prohibited in Section 4B. Speaker. Mr. Davison apologized and returned the trimmer. The following Sunday was when things got interesting. Mrs. Henderson was watering her petunias when Mr. Thompson knocked on her door. Excessive water splashing disturbs the peace, he told her. Consider this your first warning.
Within 2 weeks, Mr. Thompson's own lawn began showing signs of neglect. By the third week, it looked like a jungle. Tall grass, weeds everywhere, dandelions taking over. Meanwhile, my alternative Saturday schedule meant my grass stayed perfectly manicured every day that wasn't Sunday. Speaker. Mr. Thompson tried to cite other violations against my yard. Deadheading flowers precisely at 4:28 p.m. instead of the required 4:30. Speaker. I just nodded and said, noted. I'll adjust for next week. At the next HOA meeting, the mood was tense. Mr. Thompson kept glancing out the window at his own lawn through the blinds. Speakers. When someone brought up weed control, he cleared his throat loudly. I've noticed some inconsistency in our neighborhood's appearance standards, he began. Speaker. Nobody mentioned his lawn, but the email from the HOA lawyer later that day spoke volumes. Speaker. Due to potential legal exposure regarding enforceability of time-based prohibitions, Sunday lawn restrictions are hereby rescinded effective immediately.
That Saturday morning, I mowed my lawn, loud and early, while enjoying the smell of freshly cut grass. Squeeze. Mr. Davison joined me with his own mower. Speech. We glanced over at Mr. Thompson's yard, where a landscaping crew was working frantically to control the jungle that had emerged in just 3 weeks. Speech.
At least we have our weekends back.
Mr. Davison said. Speech.
I shook my head. No, we have our Sundays back.
He looked puzzled until I continued.
The original rule only prohibited Sunday mowing.
Speech.
The next morning, I set my alarm for 6 a.m. By the time Mr. Thompson dragged himself outside at 8 to inspect the damage, my yard was perfect and his crew was just arriving. He caught my eye from across the street and gave me the weakest smile I'd ever seen.
Speech.
I smiled back. Well, at least someone's lawn looks good on Sunday now,
I said, turning toward my own perfectly trimmed Perfectly compliant yard. Speech.
Sometimes the best compliance happens when you follow every single letter of the law exactly as written.